August 20 was the day Archangel Michael cried over you. You kept asking for God's help but ignored every sign he sent. Heaven is running out of patience. Open this before the door closes. August 20 was not just another day. It was a divine time step written in heaven's record. The calendar marked August 20 like any other date. But in the realm beyond sight, in the corridors of heaven where time bends to divine will, that day was sealed in gold and sorrow. It was a day not forgotten by the hosts of heaven, nor by the one who answers by fire and watches over your every step. August 20 was a divine alert. A cry echoed through eternity, not of anger, but of grief. And in the stillness between your prayers and heaven's answers, the Archangel Michael wept. He wept not because you were lost, no, you were never forgotten. He wept because you kept asking for help, crying out for deliverance, begging for a sign, and when heaven answered, you looked away. You asked for breakthrough but rejected instruction. You asked for mercy but chose rebellion. You pleaded for a door and then closed your eyes when it opened. And yet still, even now, grace remains. This message is not for every listener. It is not for the casual believer or the curious soul. It is not for those who scrolled by and forgot. It is for the one who cannot shake the weight of August 20 from their chest. It is for the one who still tosses and turns at night, who knows something shifted, but doesn't know what. This message is for the one who senses the silence of heaven and fears they may have missed it. Heaven is not angry. Heaven is urgent. And urgency is what brings the Archangel forward. Before the next door opens, there must be silence. Before the release, there must be stillness. Before the command, there must be obedience. You have cried long enough. Now heaven waits for your response. The sky is holding its breath. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. In the next hours, your response will determine whether the door remains open. Listen now, not with your ears, but with your spirit. The Archangel Michael, heaven's chief commander, steps forward from the ranks of the heavenly host. His sword has been drawn not in fury, but in faithful protection. His wings have hovered over your household even as you wandered in confusion. His tears, yes, even the mighty warrior weeps, have been shed for your soul, for your silence, for your refusal to perceive what heaven shouted plainly. There comes a moment in every destiny where the turning point is hidden not in a grand explosion, but in a whisper. This is that moment for you. August 20 was not just a day. It was a divine alignment, a prophetic summons, a heavenly drumbeat that sounded your name into the winds. But you, in your weariness, you missed it. You questioned the voice. You break off the shift. You labeled the divine interruptions as coincidences. But heaven does not send signs to be explained away. It sends them to be obeyed. You prayed, and heaven answered. But the answer did not look like what you imagined. It came wrapped in unfamiliar faces, inconvenient delays, subtle nudges, and uncomfortable convictions. You asked for rescue, and instead, God sent redirection. You asked for blessing, and He sent breaking. You asked for peace, and He gave you exposure. And because it did not come in the form you were used to, you walked right past the deliverance that was crafted for you. I speak now with authority from the throne of the Most High. You were never ignored, but you were being watched. Heaven was studying your response to the signs. God did not delay to punish you. He delayed to prepare you. The delay was the mercy. The silence was a warning. And the message you're hearing now is the final alert before the next door swings, open or shut. And make no mistake, not everyone is meant to hear this. This word is coded. It is sealed with divine urgency and spoken only to those who are spiritually sensitive enough to recognize that not all silence is absence. Some silence is strategy. Some silence is warfare. Some silence is the sound of heaven stepping back to see who you've been listening to. Archangel Michael has been dispatched before on your behalf. He warred for you in rooms you were never invited into. He blocked accidents that never made the news. He intercepted arrows in your dreams while you slept in disobedience. He guarded your name while others slandered it. He hovered while you walked into the trap. And when you walked out confused, it was he who covered you in glory so you wouldn't wear shame. But now he watches. He waits. And in his silence, there is grief. Because your prayers, though sincere, were wrapped in refusal. You wanted the rescue without the repentance. You asked for movement but rejected correction. You cried for answers but ignored the alignments. In these next few hours, yes, not days, but hours, your spiritual posture will determine the direction of the next chapter. Will you awaken? Will you bow? Will you repent for the signs you rejected? Heaven is not slow to act. Heaven is waiting to see if you're finally listening. Because if you hear this message and still harden your heart, then heaven may not knock again. Do not delay. Do not dismiss. Do not distract yourself. Your moment is here. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. What was really happening on August 20? There are moments in your life when the external world continues its rhythm. People go to work. The sun rises. Your phone buzzes. The news plays. And yet, inside you, something violently shifts. August 20 was one of those moments. The air around you felt ordinary, but your spirit was groaning for something it couldn't explain. You sensed it. You knew something was off. But instead of leaning in, you suppressed it. You tried to pray it away, laugh it away, roll it away. But it didn't move. Because heaven had marked you. You were not going crazy. You were under divine disruption. While you smiled at others, something inside you was trembling. While you posted, something inside you was being pulled. Your soul knew what your mind could not interpret. August 20 was a shaking. It was a pivot. It was heaven saying, enough. But there were people around you. People too close, too familiar, too quiet. They began acting strangely. Words that once came freely became guarded. Conversations turned cautious. Their eyes held questions, and their energy shifted. You noticed it, didn't you? The way some stopped responding. The way others started watching. Some acted supportive in front of you but spoke in riddles behind you. You weren't paranoid, you were being positioned. What they didn't know was that heaven was whispering your name. What they didn't see was the angel that stood behind you when they thought you were vulnerable. What they couldn't discern was the shift in your atmosphere, the divine alert around your destiny. You've been asking, why do I feel so restless? Because your spirit is being untangled from familiar bondage. You've been questioning, why can't I sleep? Because your soul is trying to interpret spiritual movements happening behind the veil. You've been wrestling because your future has been unlocked, but your past is still knocking. A betrayal didn't start with them. It started with what they sensed. They felt something rising in you before you even believed in it yourself. They saw the light flicker in your eyes before you knew what it meant. Some were assigned to protect you, others were sent to observe. But all of them reacted when your name was echoed in heaven's courts. What they whispered behind your back was confirmation, not condemnation. They knew something was coming. They just didn't know who was behind it. And so the confusion intensified. The emotions became foggy. The tears didn't have explanations. The dreams felt too intense to understand. The weight felt too heavy to name. You asked yourself, am I losing my mind? And no, beloved, you are regaining your discernment. The shaking wasn't to harm you. It was to awaken you. August 20 was not just another day. It was a confrontation in the spirit realm. A veil was torn. A warning was released. A name, your name, was spoken in clarity. Heaven's angels looked to Michael, and Michael looked to God. And God said, watch. But when the signs began, you did what so many do. You doubted. You delayed. You distracted yourself. And now, your spirit is unsettled because it knows something is missing. There are still whispers. There are still watchers. But now there is a decision. Will you stay in the confusion? Or will you confront the mystery? Will you keep asking why everyone changed? Or will you finally recognize that you're the one who changed first? There is still time, but not much. Heaven's patience is not heaven's permission. The delay is about to expire. So ask yourself now what was really happening on August 20. Type I will obey in the comments if you received this message. Blessing code 7777 is now circling around your atmosphere. They heard whispered, but now they will hear the word. If this message stirred your spirit, then you know this isn't just a video. It's a divine interruption. When you support this mission, you are helping God's word pierce timelines and break chains in lives you may never meet. Souls are waking up. Doors are opening. Oil is pouring. Your support sows light into dark places. I believe God is whispering to someone right now. Your giving will heal what your hands can't touch. Like rivers flowing from the throne of grace, your generosity becomes the vessel for prophetic messages like this to reach the chosen and the weary. Luke 6:38 isn't just a verse. It's a living prophecy. Give, and it will be given unto you a good measure, pressed down, shaken together. I felt led to ask you personally if this word pierced your spirit. Would you become part of the mission? Support by tapping super thanks, joining as a member, or sowing directly through the PayPal link in the video description. This is not a suggestion. It is your opportunity to release seed into sacred soil. Candle your support releases harvest. Your obedience unlocks breakthrough. Your giving is prophetic. Do it now. Do it boldly. So where God is speaking, heaven hath been testing your discernment, not your desperation. Every cry you uttered in the dark, every tear, every silent plead, every whisper of God, where are you, was not overlooked. It was recorded. Not just recorded, but weighed. Not just weighing, but tested. You thought the delay was a denial. But the silence, it was a measurement. It was heaven examining the posture of your heart. It wasn't that God was far. It was that the room you stood in became a battlefield of spiritual warfare. Let this truth settle into your soul. The signs you ignored were divine traps for your enemies and divine training for your spirit. God never stopped answering you. He just stopped answering the version of you that kept resisting maturity. He was waiting to see if you'd rise into spiritual discernment or continue crawling in emotional panic. Because there's a difference between desperation and discernment. Desperation screams. Discernment listens. August 20 wasn't a punishment, it was a positioning. A day wasn't random. It was assigned. The unease in your chest wasn't anxiety. It was a signal from your spirit. A shift began. You didn't imagine the discomfort. You were being dislodged from places you were never meant to stay. Friends began acting strange. Relationships trembled. Finances became tight. Time started moving fast, and you couldn't figure out why everything felt like it was spinning. But while you were questioning what was happening around you, heaven was watching what would rise within you. Some signs came in conversations that cut too deep. Some signs came in people you loved walking away without explanation. Some signs came in dreams that unsettled your sleep, visions that disrupted your routine, or a random video, maybe even this very one, appearing in your feed at the exact second your heart was about to collapse. And yet you kept saying, "I'm not hearing from God." What you just didn't like the language he was using. Because sometimes God speaks through closed doors. Sometimes he answers by allowing exposure. Sometimes his love looks like loss. Sometimes his protection looks like pain. And here's what you must understand now. This was never just about comfort. This was a conflict over your calling. Hell has been fighting you, not because of your weakness, but because of your weight. There's something about you. Something placed in you before time. Something hell thought it silenced. But when you started waking up, when you started asking for more, when your spirit began whispering there has to be more than this, all of heaven stood to attention, and hell started scrambling. The confusion you walked through. It was spiritual static, the enemy's attempt to drown out heaven's frequency. The delays you suffered, they weren't punishment, they were preparation. You were not forgotten. You were forged. And in that forging, Archangel Michael was assigned. He didn't just stand beside you, he fought through unseen realms. Every trap meant to destroy you was routed. Every word curse whispered against your future was intercepted. Every assignment that had your name on it was delayed, not because you were ready, but because heaven was giving you another chance to recognize the war you were in. Yes, you are in a war, but not a war of flesh and blood. It's a war of wills, a war over your decisions, a war over your obedience, a war over your agreement with heaven. The battleground, your response to the signs. Do not say God left me, say God trained me. Do not say they betrayed me, say he exposed them for me. Do not say this is too much, say this is the stretching that activates my next level. Because this is what has been happening, heaven has been watching your reactions more than your requests. And in the moments you thought nothing was moving, the most important battle was being waged in the realm you could not see. You were not being ignored. You were being initiated. Now, are you ready to see with new eyes? Type "I am seeing clearly" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8899 has now been released into your spiritual vision. Within 72 hours, something will attempt to confront you. Heaven does not speak to stir fear. Heaven speaks to prepare. And today, under the watchful eyes of the host of armies, a word has been released from the throne, not to intimidate you, but to arm you. There is movement in the spirit realm. There is activity around your name. Whispers have turned into strategies. Demonic assignments that once watched you from the shadows are now inching toward the edge of action. Plans are being set, Alliances are forming, not of flesh and blood, but of spiritual rebellion. What was once spoken in low tones is now marching toward manifestation. Within 72 hours, you will sense it. It may not come as thunder, but it will feel like tension in the air. A confrontation is drawing near. Not a physical altercation, but a spiritual confrontation. The enemy has grown agitated, not because you're weak, but because you are close. Close to clarity. Close to breakthrough. Close to obedience. What triggered this? August 20. It was the final alert. That was the moment the atmosphere around you shifted permanently. Even though you didn't respond immediately, the spirit realm did. Both heaven and hell noted it. Both took your silence seriously. And now, one seeks to activate your promise. The other seeks to abort your destiny. Don't misread the coming conflict. It will be clovered. It may appear as a conversation that irritates you, a sudden shift in your schedule, a returning temptation from your past, or a disruption in your emotions that feels random. It is not random. It is a summons from the enemy to test whether you are still blind to what is moving around you, whether you are still spiritually asleep or finally awake to the war. You may feel anxious. Don't call it anxiety. Call it discernment. You may feel distracted. Don't say you're overwhelmed. Say you are under pressure because the promise is near. There's a gathering storm. Can you feel it? The tension isn't just emotional, it's prophetic. The enemy is trying to provoke a reaction from you. He wants you to speak recklessly, move prematurely, post in anger, return to cycles you had finally broken. But heaven is saying, hold your ground. There is no need to fear, but there is need to be alert. The adversary knows you've entered a spiritual intersection. Every time heaven opens a door, hell builds a counterfeit. Every time the Holy Spirit brings clarity, the enemy sends confusion. You are now at that crossing. And here is the mystery. The enemy doesn't fully know what's next for you, but he knows it's close. He can smell your elevation. He can sense the angelic activity increasing around you. He sees the flame in your eyes, and the light that's trying to break out from under your hesitation. That's why he's rushing now. That's why the next 72 hours matter. But hear this. The confrontation will fail if you are faithful. It will fail if you respond with silence and surrender, not to fear, but to God's voice. It will fail if you understand that this pressure is not punishment, it is proof. Proof that you've been chosen. Proof that your name has been declared in realms beyond your understanding. Proof that you are dangerous to darkness when you align with divine timing. This is not the time to be casual. This is not the hour to coast. Heaven's patience has been long, but it is not endless. The next hours are not normal. They are charged with consequence. The enemy is not trying to destroy what you have. He's trying to delay who you're becoming. Do not take this lightly. You are not powerless. You are not without covering. You are not without a sword. And Archangel Michael is still near. So, prepare. Watch. And walk with wisdom. Type I am alert in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9090 is rising as your shield and discernment. Be still. Silence is your shield. Let every spirit that can hear, listen. This is the moment heaven calls for silence. Not the silence of surrender, but the silence of strategy. Not the silence of passivity, but the silence that shields, that sanctifies, and that summons heaven to act on your behalf. Be still, not out of fear, but because the battlefield is now too charged for your words to be careless. The spiritual atmosphere is shifting, and the enemy is hoping, begging. You will grow impatient, speak prematurely, react emotionally, or post publicly what God told you in private. Do not fall into the trap. There is a reason for the silence. There is purpose in the withdrawal. Right now, your greatest weapon is not noise. It is obedience. Heaven is saying, withdraw. Wait. Yes, even when the pressure mounts. Yes, even when people provoke you. Yes, even when confusion stirs and you want to justify yourself, explain yourself, defend yourself. Don't. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them assume. Let them speculate. The moment you try to fix what God is unraveling, you place your hands on what heaven is dismantling. This is a sacred hour, and silence is your armor. Because what's forming around you now is not merely physical, it is a divine setup. The enemy is prowling, yes, but heaven is positioning. You're being tested not just by darkness, but by destiny. Will you protect the assignment even when no one claps? Will you obey even when obedience looks like stillness? Your silence is not weakness. It is a loud yes to heaven's strategy. Your silence is not retreat. It is trust. You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain. You do not need to pose to prove a point. Your point has already been proven in heaven. Your name is already known in the realms that matter. So, pray. Pray without noise. Pray in the Spirit. Pray in groanings too deep for words. Withdraw from fruitless debates. Pull back from conversations that drain you. Ignore invitations to arguments that are demonic setups in disguise. Be the watcher now, not the reactor. Let the Holy Spirit teach your hands to war through silence. Because when you are still, heaven speaks. And heaven is now whispering instruction to those who are listening. You cannot afford to miss the next move because of human noise. You cannot afford to delay your breakthrough because you wanted to respond to what God already silenced. It may feel like isolation, but it is insulation. It may feel like abandonment, but it is alignment. You are being wrapped in divine camouflage. While the enemy watches for your reaction, heaven is preparing your reward. Repeat after me now. I am covered. I am guarded. I am not abandoned. Say it again. Let the spirit realm hear it. Let your soul believe it. This stillness is not the end. It is the beginning of your divine emergence. Archangel Michael is not idle. He is watching. His sword is drawn. But even angels wait for your posture to match heaven's command. Be still, and the host of heaven will move. Be still, and your enemies will fall into their own snares. Be still, and you will see the salvation of the Lord. This is not weakness. This is war. And in this battle, silence is your shield, surrender is your strength, and stillness is your strategy. Type I am still in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 4141 is cloaking you in divine protection. You are no longer who they believe you are. The stillness was not your end. It was your cocoon. The silence wasn't abandonment. It was the chrysalis of transformation. They looked at you and saw the same person. They watched you walk through betrayal, heartbreak, setbacks, and delay, and they thought it broke you. But what they didn't see, what you didn't even fully see, was that while they mourned your breakdown, heaven was activating your rebirth. You are not the same. You are no longer who they believe you are. Their assumptions are outdated. Their labels expired. Their opinions are rooted in a version of you that has now been buried. On August 20, something in you died, but something far greater began to live. The shell cracked. The spirit stirred. The fire ignited. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange sense that something inside you is rising, that your appetite has changed, that your tolerance for spiritual noise has vanished, that you can't go back to empty places and meaningless conversations. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Your spirit is no longer compatible with chaos. Your identity has been baptized in silence, in warfare, in weeping, and you have emerged different. They will not recognize you. And that is exactly how heaven designed it. You've outgrown their definitions. You shed the victim cloak. You bearing the broken narrative. What you thought was destruction was actually divine metamorphosis. The fire didn't consume you. It refined you. The wilderness didn't kill you. It strengthened you. The silence didn't mute you. It disciplined your voice. Now, when you speak, power will follow. Let me tell you what heaven now sees. Wings. Yes, wings. Wings that were forming in the shadows. Wings that were stretched in prayer. Wings that are now unfolding. And as you rise, hell trembles. Because you are no longer a target who is unaware, you are a warrior who is awake. The enemy hoped the waiting would break you, but the waiting only sharpened your discernment. The enemy hoped the confusion would make you retreat, but the confusion turned into your classroom. You now move different. You think different. You see different. And you walk with a weight that only survivors of fire carry. You are not the same. And the ones who left you, they were never meant to see this version of you. Their exit was heaven's extraction. Your betrayal was part of the transformation. Don't grieve over those who left. Grieve over the part of you that once needed them. Because what's rising now is purpose. What's awakening now is authority. And what's manifesting now is the evidence of everything heaven whispered when you were crying on your floor at 2 a.m. wondering if God had forgotten you. He didn't. He was forming you. And now, He's sending you. So declare it. I am not who I was. I am not who they remember. I am who heaven has called, and I will rise in full authority. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your ascension. You owe heaven your obedience. Now rise. Let the wings unfold. Let the fire burn. Let the old you be buried. The version of you that survived August 20 is not the one who's stepping into what comes next. Type I am risen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5151 is elevating your identity into divine purpose. August 20 was not punishment. It was the trumpet blast before alignment. You thought it was just another day. You thought August 20 would pass like all the rest. Another morning, another breath, another moment slipping through the hourglass of time. But heaven did not treat it as ordinary. Heaven wrote it in bold. Heaven circled it in the scrolls of destiny. The day unknown to you, a gate opened in the spirit. A trumpet was sounded. Your name was declared. A season closed, and a new one began. But because you didn't feel the shift right away, you assumed nothing happened. That was the deception. What occurred on August 20 wasn't emotional, it was eternal. The date was not a reaction, it was a preordained alignment. And whether or not you discerned it, heaven acted. Angels stood at attention. The books were opened. A line was drawn in the spirit. And God said, "It is time." Time for what? Time for the closing of the season where you kept asking for confirmation while ignoring conviction. Time for the closing of the season where you mistook delay as permission to remain passive. Time for the closing of the season where God kept sending messages, and you kept silencing them with fear, distraction, or doubt. But do not misunderstand. This is not condemnation. It is not heaven's anger. This is heaven's mercy, wrapped in fire. Because August 21 sent to punish. It was sent to propel. You didn't feel it all at once, but your spirit did. You've been different since that day. Unsettled. Restless. Watching everything around you shift, not realizing you're the one being shifted. The old comforts don't hold you. The old temptations don't tempt you. The old habits feel foreign. You're in between the version of you that heaven has buried and the version of you that is about to be crowned. And so the war began, the war between who you were and who you are becoming. But this word today, this very message, is heaven's reminder that you were not left behind. No, you were called forward. August 20 was the echo of a greater announcement. The chosen has been summoned. And you, yes, you are the chosen. You've always been the one who didn't quite fit in, the one who loved deeply but was often misunderstood, the one who battled silently while still interceding for others, the one who knew you were marked but couldn't always explain why the warfare was so personal. Heaven knows your name, and your name is not lost in the crowd. Your name has been spoken in the throne room. You have been seen. You have been sealed. And you are now being sent. There is still a window of grace, but it is not wide. Heaven is waiting on your agreement. The next instructions will not come until you fully surrender to what August 20 initiated. The next level of clarity, the next wave of resources, the next key relationship, all of it hinges on whether you respond now. The door has not yet closed, but it is closing. Don't waste this moment asking for another sign. This is the sign. This is the final call to alignment, to obedience, to elevation. August 20 marked you, not because of judgment, but because of purpose. So rise. Heaven has moved. Now it's your turn. Type ISAYYES in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7272 is activating your divine alignment now. Heaven marked the day, now you can mark the movement. If this word pierced your spirit, then you know this is more than content. This is a calling. When you support this mission, you are not just clicking a button. You are becoming part of heaven's voice in the earth. You are helping the weary recognize their moment. You are helping the chosen answer the call. Your seed becomes oil. Your support becomes light. Your giving becomes deliverance. The Lord says in Isaiah 55:11, "My word will not return void." And every time you sow into a word like this, you ensure that prophetic revelation reaches the exact soul it was sent to rescue. I feel this strongly. Somebody's next yes is waiting on your obedience. You can support right now by clicking Super Thanks, joining us through membership, or giving directly through PayPal using the link in the description below. Don't hesitate. Sow where you see power. Sow where you feel fire. Sow into what's feeding your future. Speak boldly. Give boldly. Woo boldly. Let your obedience echo into eternity. Heaven is waiting for your agreement before the next release. There comes a point in every journey where the question is no longer, "Did God call me?" The question becomes, "Will I say yes?" Heaven is not uncertain about who you are. The angels know your name. Demons recognize your authority. The earth groans for your emergence. The only one who hasn't moved fully into alignment is you. But that hesitation is ending now, because the time for contemplation is over. The season for delay is closed. The realm of potential has expired. And what stands in front of you now is not a possibility. It is a summons. You asked for confirmation. This is confirmation. You asked for clarity. This is clarity. You asked for timing. This is timing. Heaven is no longer asking you to observe. It is commanding you to respond. The doors you prayed for are now swinging open, but they will not remain open forever. They respond to obedience. And in this moment, your yes has power. Not just any yes, the total yes. The yes that burns the bridges behind you. A yes that silences every excuse you've ever made. A yes that terrifies your comfort zone. A yes that breaks every generational curse that's tried to linger in your bloodline. Your destiny is not activated by feeling ready. It is activated by faith. Faith is not the absence of fear, it is movement in the midst of it. And right now, faith is asking you to stand up inside yourself, raise your voice into the unseen, and say, "Yes, Lord, whatever you ask, wherever you lead." Because heaven is ready. Archangel Michael is standing, sword in hand. The angelic host has already been dispatched. The instructions have been given. The doors have been unlocked. But nothing will move until your agreement is spoken. Your yes is not just a sound. It is a spiritual code. It is the access point. It is the key that unlocks favor, downloads strategy, and shifts divine resources in your direction. There are blessings that will not move toward you until your posture shifts from wandering to walking. Walk in purpose. Walk in obedience. Walk in surrender. This isn't just about personal breakthrough. This is about divine deployment. There are people connected to your obedience. There are souls on the other side of your surrender. There are regions, realms, and revolutions in the spirit that will not begin until you activate what has been buried within you. The enemy has tried to silence your voice, because your voice carries permission. He knows that if you say yes, angels move. If you say yes, the oil flows. If you say yes, the chains break. If you say yes, the atmosphere shifts. If you say yes, the curse ends. So speak now. Speak with power. Speak with resolve. Say yes to the mantle. Say yes to the next instruction. Say yes to the unseen favor. Say yes to the fire, because it will refine, not destroy. Say yes to the wilderness, because it's preparing you for the platform. Say yes to the pressure, because it's birthing something eternal. This is the moment. August 20 with the invitation. This is your activation. Let heaven record it. Let the angels seal it. Let the realms feel the shift in your voice. Say it loud. I say why yes to my calling. I say why yes to divine instruction. I say why yes to the path before me. Because once you say yes, everything changes. Type my why yes is sealed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 6161 is now unlocking your next divine instruction. What was stolen is already being returned, even while you sleep. There are movements that occur in complete silence. Transactions that shake nations, yet no sound is heard. Words that never reach your ears but alter the entire trajectory of your life. This is what is happening around you now. Even if you cannot feel it, even if you cannot explain it, there is an exchange happening in the spirit. A divine transfer. A heavenly negotiation. And your spirit, your deepest self, already knows. It's why you felt sudden waves of emotion. It's why you've woken up with tears you didn't understand. It's why you've sensed that something is shifting, and it has nothing to do with what's in front of you. Because your destiny has been in deliberation. You may have been sleeping, but the angels weren't. You may have been weeping, but heaven was working. Archangel Michael didn't just weep for you on August 20. He stepped into intercession. He went to war. He pleaded on your behalf. He stood in defense of what was written about you in the scrolls of heaven. He reminded the courts of your purpose, your pain, and your prayers. And while you felt abandoned, you were being advocated for. This is not poetic. This is prophetic. The battle has never been just about your now. It's been about your recorded future. Every loss you've experienced, every betrayal, every stolen opportunity, every delay you couldn't explain, all of it is now being weighed. Every tear you thought was wasted has become evidence. Evidence used in heaven's courtroom to determine what must now be returned to you. And what's being returned? Peace. Time. Clarity. Resources. Open doors. Vindication. Divine reversal. There is an exchange taking place where the weight of your warfare is being measured against the greatness of your purpose. Heaven is saying, because you remained when others fled, because you repented when others rebelled, because you waited when others wandered, now I will restore. But not just restore. Multiply. Because God never gives you back exactly what was taken. He returns it pressed down, shaken together, running over. He's not just returning years. He's returning harvests. He's not just returning opportunities. He's returning authority. And here's the mystery. Most of it will happen without you saying a word. The breakthrough won't need your announcement. The vindication won't need your voice. God is doing it in silence. He is moving where the enemy cannot track, where demons cannot intercept, where no flesh can manipulate. This is a divine exchange beneath the veil. Some of you are waking up lighter. That's not your imagination. It's spiritual residue lifting. Some of you are walking into rooms and feeling differently. That's because your atmosphere hath been rewritten. Your name has been refreshed in the courts of heaven, and the enemy can no longer access what used to be attached to you. The whispers behind your back. Silence. The curses spoken against your progress. Oh, the delay that tried to hold your promise hostage. Broken. There is nothing louder than a silent victory authored by God. And this, what is happening right now, is one of them. To walk with quiet confidence. Don't over-explain. Don't overshare. Just keep walking. What is being transferred into your life now will not be broadcast. It will be undeniable. You are being draped in favor that you didn't earn, but you were always destined for. Your spirit knew it. Your pain prepared it. And now, your silence protected it. Type I receive the exchange in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit already knows. Blessing code 8383 is now activating supernatural restoration on your behalf. What was plotted against you will now return tenfold, not in destruction, but in deliverance. Justice does not sleep in the kingdom of heaven. It does not falter. It does not forget, and it does not fail. Heaven keeps records. Every lie whispered about you, every trap designed in secret, every delay sent to frustrate your faith, every betrayal packaged as a blessing. Nothing was missed. Nothing was lost. Nothing is unaccounted for. And now, the scales are shifting. What they did in secret will be repaid in public. What they said behind your back will be overturned in front of your face. What they stole in silence will be returned in supernatural acceleration. Because this is not just the moment of restoration. This is the season of divine reversal. Understand this. The kingdom of God does not respond to rumors. It responds to righteousness. And you, beloved, have remained righteous. Not perfect, but faithful. You didn't strike back when you were slandered. You didn't curse them when they cursed you. You didn't manipulate the moment when you were falsely accused. You held your peace. You bowed your heart. You waited. And now, heaven rises. The gavel has come down. The verdict has been released. The judge of all has ruled in your favor. This is not a metaphor. This is a spiritual court case being closed. You were on trial in the unseen, and heaven just issued your victory. The curses are rehearsing. The shame is being erased. The cycles are being broken. And what was sent to destroy you is now becoming the vehicle of your promotion. Watch how God flips it. The words they used to mock you will now become the backdrop to your testimony. The doors they shut in your face will now be the ones you walk back through with favor. The people who walked away will now witness the glory that follows you, and they won't be able to deny it. Because when heaven moves in justice, it doesn't just defend you, it elevates you. The ones who tried to bury you thought it was over, but they didn't realize they were planting a seed. And what grows from this pain will not be a small harvest. It will be a generational recompense. This isn't just your justice, it's your family's. It's the reversal for the years of silence, the decades of trauma, the inherited battles you never asked for. You're not just fighting for yourself. You're breaking chains that were wrapped around your bloodline for generations. And when you rise as a breaker, a deliverer, a restorer. The angelic host has already gone ahead of you. The reversal has begun. You may not see it all yet, but the ripple has started. One closed door will open. One phone call will come. One divine appointment will unfold. It only takes one command from the throne to undo everything the enemy thought he secured. This is your turnaround. And it's not just personal, it's prophetic. So do not take revenge. You won't need to. Do not prove your worth. You already carry heaven's approval. Do not chase those who abandoned you. The ones who truly carry heaven's insight will be drawn back to you by divine force. This is justice on God's terms. And the beauty of divine reversal is this: you won't even look like what you went through. They'll say, "But weren't you the one who got left behind?" And heaven will say, "Yes, and now they are the one being launched forward." They'll say, "But didn't you lose everything?" And heaven will say, "Yes, and now they carry more than they ever had." They'll say, "But I thought it was over for them." And heaven will respond, "No, it just began." Type "The justice is mine" in the comments if this message hits your spirit. Blessing code 1919 is now releasing the reversal you've been waiting for. Let every force in the unseen realm take notice. Heaven has spoken. Your name has been declared. The record is complete. The fire has refined you. The silence has strengthened you. The waiting has matured you. And now the door is either closed or it is opening for the ready. August 20 was not a coincidence. It was not emotional. It was not a moment lost in time. It was a divine cry for your attention. The tears of Archangel Michael weren't tears of despair. They were tears of holy grief. Because heaven saw your heart cry for answers and also watched you overlook the very signs that were sent as lifelines. But here's what you must understand. You are still here. You are still standing. You are still reading. You are still listening. Which means the door is not yet shut. Which means mercy is still available. Which means your response still carries weight in heaven. And if you've made it this far, then heaven considers you the remnant. The one who still cares. The one who still listens. The one who can still be molded. So now, with the full authority of heaven's throne, under the covering of angelic protection, and in the power of the name above every name, receive this final declaration. You are blessed. You are chosen. You are protected. You are commissioned. May peace cover your home like oil from the horns of the altar. May every unanswered question be met with supernatural clarity. May every unseen angel begin to move with divine acceleration. May your name echo in corridors you haven't even entered yet. May your hands carry healing. May your words carry wisdom. May your walk carry weight. You have entered the final days of wandering. Now is the hour to walk in certainty. Let every curse that hovered be shattered. Let every delay dissolve. Let every demonic whisper be silenced. Let every prophetic promise now stand up and report for duty. Because you are no longer begging for purpose, you are becoming it. Heaven is no longer waiting. Heaven is watching. Watching what you do next. Watching what you speak. Watching what you obey. This is no longer about survival. It is about assignment. So rise. Not in ego. Not in fear. Not in rebellion. But in reverence. Because you are sealed. Because you are seen. Because you are now being sent. Now rise. Type I am sent in the comments to finalize this covenant. Blessing code 7771 is being inscribed over your destiny in heaven's book. If your spirit was stirred, if your eyes filled with tears, if your heart burned with confirmation, then you are not just a viewer. You are a vessel. Heaven is pouring, and this message was one of many rivers flowing into dry places. When you support this ministry, you are sowing into souls who are waking up every day desperate to hear what God is saying. You are helping prophetic words like this reach the broken, the weary, and the chosen ones still on the edge of decision. Your giving doesn't go into noise, it goes into nations. Malachi 3:10 is alive. Bring the full tithe and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. This is not fundraising. This is harvest raising. This is you putting a seed in ground that is proving itself fruitful. Click super thanks. Consider becoming a member, or sow through PayPal using the link in the video description. Don't hold back your obedience, because this very moment might be the seed that breaks the drought in someone else's life. To beg, to bort, to, and watch the heavens respond.